We're back with Better Together, Better Business, our interactive interview series where we explore change and its impact on business with our wonderful panelists. We've got with us today Kwok, who is Commercial Director, Consumer Health for Johnson & Johnson. Welcome, Chloe. We've got Amit Chatterjee, who is the founder and CEO of Shadow Factory, a new generation virtual and augmented reality tech company. We have the wonderful Betty Cheung, who is the creator of ArtJamming, a creative space for anyone interested in expressing themselves through painting. I know it doesn't matter about what level of talent you have because I have worked in Betty's wonderful space and I'm no painter. So we're very pleased to have everybody here with us. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be harvesting some wonderful thinking around the topic, yes, there are storm clouds, but are there silver linings too? And in order to do that, we are going to do an activity that Sam, actually, my business partner at StarMaker, Sam Bobertz, introduced to our organization. And now we start every single business meeting with a Thorns and Roses session. And what that means is that we share something that's difficult that happened over the past week and something that was very uplifting and something that we're maybe either proud of or made us happy. So in this session, I'm going to start with you, Betty. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to share with us something that has been challenging. Maybe it's something that you lost business-wise as a result of COVID. And I'd also like you to share something that was either an unexpected business opportunity or some benefit that has arisen out of the disruption of COVID-19.
For us specifically, I mean, we've had kind of like a knock-on effect of challenges over the last few years. I mean, from the property market surging and the protests, and I feel like COVID is part 3, and I hope it's the act 3, and act 3 meaning the end. So what we've seen, though, interestingly in COVID, because it's very specific, it kind of attacks us in a place where we're the strongest, which is we gather people for, team building and parties and so forth. And now there's no gathering. But what's really interesting for me is that it didn't die completely. I mean, we did lose, hundreds of corporate numbers, but at the same time, we got family numbers, which was a bit unusual for us. Mm-hmm. So people are very, okay to hang out with their families. So we're having, instead of kids' birthday parties with 20 kids, we have a kids' birthday party with just their family. And I found that to be incredibly endearing and warming. And we haven't seen that in a long time. I think it's very nice that people are valuing their time together and they want a really memorable experience. And that, for me, harkens back in the days when we were on Wellington Street and, we used to see that on weekends. But there's been a shortage of that recently. And, thank COVID, we have that again.
That's great. Thank you, Betty. Okay, so let's hand over to Amit. Tell us what's a plus and what's an ow?
Yeah, so I mean, similarly, some of our challenges have been around. A lot of our clients do large-scale events, and the events keep getting canceled. So on a regular week, we'll get a bunch of calls from clients who are like, hey, we're going to do this event next month, and we're sure everything's going to go back to normal. It's going to be great. And then when it comes time to actually, put pen to paper and actually pull the trigger on the project, they're like, oh, you know what? It's like, we're going to have to cancel this, and it's not looking like it's going to happen. Or it just rolls over and just gets postponed. And that can be a bit demoralizing to the team because, we're chasing these projects and, the dialogue around it sounds very similar as you're hearing. It's like, oh, we've got this event, it's going to happen not now, but later. And like, let's do this. And then when later comes, it doesn't really come through. So that's been a challenge. And similarly, we've been dealing with this since the protests and everything like that. So it's just been a hard, long run of just like the rug getting pulled out from underneath us all the time. The silver lining to it has been that with the inability to do outdoor events or public gatherings, virtual reality and augmented reality suddenly have a very immediate, clear and present context for use. So, last year I spent a lot of time trying to educate people when we're talking to clients and pitching the projects. What is VR? Why is it meaningful to you? And most of the clients that we would talk to or try to pitch to, they can't even spell VR. Like, they're really at a very early stage of, trying to understand what the technology could be on a technical level, on a creative level. And this year, since about February, we've been getting a number of leads that are like large scale requests or requests for large scale VR projects, and like, how do we do everything in VR? And like, I read about this in this article and I heard about this, and like, suddenly the clients are more educated than I am on the space, and they're bringing us use cases. And they're like, can we do this? And can we do this? And, so we're getting to, while there's a traditional part of our business, if there's such a thing, we're 4 years old, but while there's a traditional part of our business that, isn't working the way that we're used to working, the stuff that we've been aspiring to do is suddenly very much in the spotlight, and we're getting chances to pitch that stuff and potentially work on some of those things. So that's very exciting. So, in a way, it's cleared some of the stepping stones away and given us a chance to drop.
Yeah, no, that's really exciting. I was gifted an Oculus Quest for my birthday recently, and it's blowing my mind. I mean, the future is, the technology's here. You could do so much with that, personally and even within business. It's crazy.
Okay. That's great. I'm going to hand over to Chloe now. Let's hear a thorn and a rose from you. What's something that's been difficult, and what's something that's been uplifting?
Yes, since like Patty and also Amit share like some more external changes or challenges or impact, maybe I can also share an example like more internal. I see that at the beginning of the COVID, definitely how we maintain the engagement with our team is actually not easy. So like in the past, you can have meetings face to face, like you see everyone every day, having lunch together, have the social interactions. Right now, it's all become like only virtual connections with one another. And I think one of the things that we learn together is actually spending more time checking in with one another for every single meeting that we have. Like by just spending like maybe 5 to 10 minutes checking in, showing our genuine interest in the team and with one another, actually I do have a feeling that the engagement is still there. I mean, like originally there might be some people feeling that it is not easy and no longer that efficient to connect virtually. However, like I think after this whole COVID things, we learned to really listen hard is very important, by the way, but we learned that together. And the two very great things I would share is that we right now pivot ourselves to like ask more questions like, how can I help? How might we? I think these are the questions like I don't think we actually come across a lot in the past, but right now, possibly because of like we are connecting only virtually, we also like want to unleash the potential from everyone. So leaders in the organization actually try to really ask more questions and empower the team to make more decisions. So I think that's also like something at the beginning, we find it hard to maintain the engagement, but then when we actually go through the journey together, there is actually a benefit that changing the mindset of how we conduct our conversations. So I think that's also a great part that we learn together.
That's wonderful, Chloe. Thank you. I'm going to contribute a little something here in terms of StarMaker. Sam and I had been talking about the importance of taking our workshops and creating more virtual and online opportunities to engage with our clients, and kind of procrastinated because we were so busy doing face-to-face work. All of a sudden, it became a priority. And as a result of that, we partnered with one of our strategic partners, ArtJamming, and created an app and a learning journey for how to successfully manage remote teams, a training program. And we decided to just give it away because it felt like something that we could give back. And so, sometimes out of the adversity of something going away, something being lost, there's a new opportunity that comes up. So listen, this has been wonderful. I've really enjoyed this session. I so appreciate your contributions. I just want to remind the people that are watching this to go down to the comment section. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and also you'll find a link there to a treasure trove of ideas and tools and tips for how to keep your people at work feeling engaged and how to navigate this change. And also we'll be harvesting some of the great thinking that's come from this panel that's with us today. So until next time, thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Jose Bezanilla, CEO of Great Place to Work for Greater China. Wow, we had an amazing second episode of this webinar and really powerful situations here. This dynamic of thorns and roses are really useful as well when we are practicing gratitude, when we are capitalizing on learning from the opportunities or from the failures that we probably had. And this time of the year, failures and things that we didn't consider are happening all over. So it's very important that we have this. I love the fact that was shared by ArtJamming about moving from corporate to families. That is something that is happening, and it's very, very obvious and very needed to capitalize on that, because we're getting more intimate and having more human touch with our people. And the fact of Shadow Factory talking about how this technology is helping for more connection, virtual connection with the teams and keeping engagement. It's such an important thing that we have to review carefully, because it's very needed that we polish to get the best use of all these tools. And finally, this Johnson & Johnson piece about learning to checking, listening more, making more questions. Wow. Such an important treat for everybody. Keep it up, keep it practicing, and see you in the next episode, guys. Thank you.